Yo, what is going on, everybody?
It's your boy Ma.
Ryan, in the cut. You know, my head looks sweaty as shit.
All football, all the time.
I guess
raw, uncut, unedited.
I don't like the way you position this. I look short. I look smaller than I am.
No, you don't, bro.
Yes, I do, bro. Look at how much camera space is left between me and the top. I'm not even halfway I'm not even vertical halfway. This is ridiculous. Can I get some respect around here?
Listen, eat more carrots.
That's for vision, bro. What?
Nuh-uh.
Yes.
Bro, let's talk football.
Let's
talk week 3. We had a lot of upsets. Some
upsets.
Very depressing things happened.
R.I.P.
And let's get into it.
Let's get it. All right, first thing we can talk about. I guess we don't really have to talk about the Jets and the Browns game because it happened before our predictions, so we kind of got to spend a little energy on it. But any closing thoughts?
My man Baker came out.
First overall pick.
He said,
Swaggy.
He said, Tyrod. He said, listen, bro.
Caught a receiving touchdown.
He said, listen, Tyrod.
Show.
Tyrod, I don't really care.
T-Mobile.
This is Baker's dog pound now.
Oh, shit. All right.
Whoop, whoop, whoop.
Okay, moving on. Saints and the Falcons. Yo, this light is so bright.
What was this game again?
43-37.
Another shootout.
Right into overtime.
And then Drew Brees got the rushing touchdown, right?
To tie the game. And then it went to overtime. And the Saints prevailed. Still my Super Bowl pick for the NFC.
Minus the Los Angeles Rams.
Nah, I think they're going to beat the Rams in the NFC Championship.
I could see it, but I still think the Rams are. Right now, they're number one in point and yards allowed.
Bro, that's nice and all, but
and they're tied for third in yards gained.
Who have they played?
True.
Who have they played? They played the best offense they played is
they're playing the Vikings as
they're
we
playing
speak.
the Vikings as they speak, and they got torched at least 3 times in that first half.
Yeah, but they're still up 2 possessions.
Their offense has done a lot of work, though.
Yeah,
that's facts.
True.
Then again, the Vikings defense has looked suspect 2 weeks in a row, so how can I really judge?
Yeah, because
just because we know what the Vikings were doesn't mean we know what the Vikings are at this point because they don't look like what they were.
Yeah, losing to the Bills, tragic.
That's tough. And don't forget, right before that, they had to have a miraculous comeback to even tie with the Packers.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they would have won that game before their kicker.
And they would have lost that game if it wasn't for the other team's kicker.
True. All right. Well.
Anyway.
Next game.
Wait. No. I had one more thought, and it has nothing to do with the Saints Falcons game, which is the most hilarious part. But the Packers also another team. If you really think about it, they could easily be 0-2-1 because that Bears comeback was miraculous.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, these teams that you think are good and their records aren't that bad on paper yet. I don't know. They're looking sus to me. Bottom line is Falcons 1-2 and their defense is getting scored on more than a new single mom. No?
Goal. It's like, nah.
Nah, but for real, like, I don't know. In the Saints defense, you could really say the same thing. But, I mean, the Saints offense...
Their offense is putting up the points.
At least the Falcons defense has an excuse. They have, 3 or 4 injured players, serious injured players. Saints, I don't know what's going on. I was predicting this defense would get better, and you're not making me look very good.
Facts.
Anyways, all right, now we can move on. Broncos losing to the Baltimore Ravens 27-14.
See, in my picks, I had the Broncos winning this.
That's tough.
But I just don't understand how. I don't know, man. The NFL has been really inconsistent this season.
To me, I saw this.
I've seen a lot of upsets. I'm not saying this was necessarily an upset, but I'm saying it's been a back and forth season.
You could have saved this speech for 3 more games coming up. This did not have to come now. This is the worst time to pick it. Anyways, but yeah, this Ravens. I'm not surprised. Denver wasn't playing at home for once, and the Ravens are pretty good at home.
I guess I was just a believer in Case Keenum.
Yeah, I mean, they only put up 14. I was a big believer in that Ravens defense. Clearly, they had paid off. And like I said before the game even started, Case Keenum had thrown like 6 picks in his first 2 games of the season against 2 defenses that aren't considered all that great anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Keep disrespecting my Seahawks. Regardless, moving on. Ravens, I think they lead the division. Oh no, they're tied for the lead with the team that lost this week. The Bengals lost to the Carolina Panthers 31-21. And can I say the way my prediction turned out? Like I said, better quarterback. I forget my rules. Better quarterback, best player on the team other than a quarterback, but I can't remember the other one. Oh, and home field. And Panthers had all 3, and they came out with a 10-point W.
See, I went with the Bengals solely because they were undefeated, and I was just like, you know what? Because this was a tough one to call, just because the Bengals have played over their potential, and the Panthers, I feel like any given Sunday can be the best team on the field or the worst team on the field. So I just went with the team with the better win percentage.
How'd that go for you?
Terrible.
Like I said, if it's a toss-up like that, 3 rules. Home field, quarterback, best other than the quarterback. All right, up next we have the New York Football Giants getting their first win of the season over the super disappointing Houston Texans.
Ooh.
We both picked the Texans to win this game comfortably, by the way.
I think that it was just a
battle
of 2 bad teams. A lot of bad football was played. The Giants just played better. Nothing really in depth to go on about that.
I'm shocked at how bad this Texans team is.
And I also thought that this would be the week the Texans turn it on with such an easy opponent.
The Giants, I mean, they're still probably going to be bottom of the basement.
They'll probably be 3rd in their division.
No, I don't.
You think they're better than Washington?
Washington's 2-1, and they just beat Green Bay. Alex Smith is known to at least be able to clutch you up 7 wins. And I don't know if the Giants can do that. They have the talent to, but it doesn't seem
like the Giants only get 2 wins last season.
Giants, I think, were like 4-12. All right, on to the upset of the week. Probably, you could call it the upset of the week. Titans beat the Jaguars 9-6, fresh off of the Jacksonville Jaguars' dominant performance over the New England Patriots.
I don't even think Tennessee knew they were going to win this game.
I mean, I don't know. And it was in Jacksonville. There's just something about Tennessee and Jacksonville, man.
Yeah.
Something in that rivalry. What can I say? I definitely wasn't seeing it happening. Especially because
if any of you guys called it, impressive.
Especially now, because I'm like, Jaguars might be my favorite. I mean, they weren't my official pick, so I'm going to keep riding with I'll ride with my pick all year. But if I had to pick somebody other than them, it's probably the Jacksonville Jaguars to me.
My official pick is LA and Jacksonville.
Mine's New Orleans and New England.
Mm-hmm.
It's been that all season, and it's not looking good right now. But that's why they call September the new preseason. Anyways, up next we have the Kansas City Chiefs beating the San Francisco 49ers 38-27 as Jimmy Garoppolo tears his ACL in the 4th quarter, non-contact, ends his season, and Richard Sherman pulls his calf and will miss the next 3-4 weeks. It might be his hamstring, by the way. I'm not sure which one.
It was a strained calf, and I was proud of my team. I mean, we just, we went down too much too early, and that kind of thing hurt you. But going into the half, didn't they already have 35? And they ended the game with 38.
They did. It might have been, yeah.
Going into half, it was 35-7, I believe, and the game was 38-27. I feel like if Jimmy G didn't get hurt, I feel like we could have pulled off the comeback. And that game was closer than probably anybody watching this video predicted.
At the half, it was 35-10.
I believe that CJ Beathard will step in and do what needs to be done to get this 49ers team some wins in the future weeks.
I think it's pretty much a wrap for the season. You might as well save up and grab Nick Bosa with the first overall pick. I mean, at this point, it's like CJ Beathard isn't winning you any Super Bowls. This defense ain't going to do it by itself. Matt Breida ain't going to do it by himself. So you might as well chalk it up. Beathard's not going to lead you. Beathard could probably lead you to about 3 wins, and is it even worth it to win 3 games and then get like the 5th pick instead of the 1st pick? I say you chalk it up, go 1-15, 2-14 for one season. All you got to say at the end of the season is, listen, our star got an ACL injury. We'll be back next year. I mean, you could look at it like a Nick Foles situation, but it's really not in any capacity.
So, it might be. You never know.
It's not this.
Fitz turned it on.
Everything around Nick Foles was perfect. Coach, line, receivers, running backs, and probably the best defense in the league last year. Third. I take that back. Third best defense in the league. Jacksonville, Minnesota, Philly last year. Until the playoffs, and then Philly just kicked their ass. What can I say? But nevertheless, then they got their ass kicked in the Super Bowl. So.
Nevertheless, don't mean to bust your bubble, but girls of the world ain't nothing but trouble. So next time a girl get you play, just remember my rhymes and get the hell away. All
right. We gotta keep it rolling.
Will Smith was fire.
I have one more thing to say. Oh yeah, so chalk it up. Grab like the best player available, possible. Get the best draft prospect. Add to this team for next season. You still got cap space. You can go out there, sign 1 or 2 more players, and then next year, you might be the team that's favored to win the Super Bowl. Moving on. Oh, by the way, Kansas City is looking beastly. In my opinion, they look like the best team in the NFL right now.
So they'll play my Niners in the second half of the ball.
And then ended up winning by 11. Anyway, Raiders, Dolphins. I think this is this is the 3rd pick I got wrong, but this was the one that was like, that you got right that I got wrong. Because I picked the Raiders to win. I thought they were going to come out a little bit more hungry, and then they had the lead, and they blew it in the 4th quarter. Clearly, they weren't hungry enough, and the Dolphins moved to 3-0 for the first time since 2002.
I feel like somebody's playing some games of John Gruden, and they just don't want his first season to be a success. So
this man is really 0-3, getting beat 10-0.
That's what I'm saying. I feel like there's some force at hand that just doesn't want to see him win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
But these Dolphins, 3-0, what's up? Worst 3-0 team?
Wait, Jacksonville lost.
Yeah. So did Tampa.
And so did Tampa.
Miami's the only one left. I can't even believe that. They're probably the worst of the 3.
Yeah, they are.
Unbelievable.
Tannehill magic, baby.
No. If anything, Ryan magic at least. Tannehill magic. Oh, yes. And you bored? But yeah, man. And they lost.
Say that, bro. We're gonna get demonetized.
Yo, shut up.
Please don't yellow mark us.
Don't yellow mark us.
Because we'll just delete the video and then re-upload it with a different title. Suck it.
Anyway, up next we have the Buffalo Bills beating the Minnesota Vikings 27-6.
I think we call this the upset of the week. I mean,
true.
That hit the world like a fucking freight train. no one seen it coming. Like, I'm talking Sandra Bullock blindside out of nowhere.
Michael Moore.
Wanted curved bullets, shots fired.
Pew pew.
Like, nobody could have called that game except for a Bills fan.
They probably wouldn't call it.
They probably didn't even call it. Fucking Bills players probably like, shit, we might as well chalk this up as an L.
Vontae Davis definitely did.
Oh, man, that was good.
I know.
But
these Vikings might not be as for real as everybody thinks.
Yeah, these Vikings are looking a little shaky.
I think they were looking past them and looking towards the Rams, and now don't even look like they're ready for them. So fuck.
Yeah.
All right, moving on. Colts losing to the Eagles 16-20. This was your tie of the week.
Yeah, I mean, I was, 4 points off?
Yep.
4 points off, 2 safeties. No defense.
Two safeties. But they could have held them off of the field goal.
I feel like that could have been a tie, bro. Like, it wasn't a one-sided affair.
No, it definitely wasn't. I don't even want to talk about this game other than the fact that, Andrew Luck might not be Andrew Luck no more. I don't know. Time will tell. But the Eagles defense continues to be up and down nowadays because Jalen Burnt Toast Mills, 1 week he plays like one of the best corners in the league, the next week he gets burnt toast. So you never know what you're going to get.
I think inconsistency is one of the worst traits that you could ever see in a player.
Facts. All right, up next. Another one that could be categorized as the upset of the week. The Redskins beating the Packers 31-17 as Adrian Peterson has 2 rushing touchdowns.
This is another one. AP is back to being AP. That's another shocker.
He's top 3 in the rushing yards, I think, right?
Huh?
That's crazy.
No, wait.
Top 4?
I don't think so, bro.
Top 5? I think he's top 5.
Because it was Breida, Zeke,
and
McCaffrey.
I think he was top 5.
Gurley was 5th.
Gurley was 5th?
Yeah, and 4th.
I think it was Peterson, bro. Because I remember seeing, little things.
It might be.
Illustrated. Whatever. That did not matter that much. Regardless, the Packers only put up 17 points against the Redskins in Washington.
Oh, man. Maybe they were jet lagged. I don't know.
Listen, and they almost lost to Chicago. This team could very easily be winless right now if it wasn't for heroics by Aaron Rodgers. Are they going to need that every week to win? Because if so, you can only pull that off so much in one season.
Yeah, facts. Especially.
You're lucky to even be 1-1-1. You could easily be 0-3 if Carlson makes a kick and the Bears don't choke the fourth quarter away. Get your shit together, Green Bay. That's all I gotta say. I didn't even mean for that to run. Anyway, and the Redskins, do you think they're for real or are they one that's gonna kind of fall off the mat?
I think they're gonna fall off the mat.
Same. I feel like they'll finish the season 6-10, 7-9. All right, moving on. This was my pick for the upset of the week. God, did I not foresee all these other ones coming? The Chargers losing to the Rams 35-23.
I thought this was a no-brainer.
I didn't. I'm disappointed by this Chargers defense throughout the first 3 weeks. So
I thought this was a no-brainer. Rams taking it. I feel like the Rams are the best team in the league right now.
I think the Chiefs are. That was going to be one of the topics we could talk about. Chiefs or Rams? Who's the best 3-0 team?
NFC West got to represent LA Rams.
Oh, no. I think right now. That doesn't mean I think by the end of the season they would be. I want to be very clear by that. By the end of the season, I'm almost 100% positive the Rams will be the better team. But as of this moment, Chiefs are the better team.
I'm not a believer in Pat Mahomes just yet.
But throughout these first 3 weeks, who's been the best team?
Well, I mean, we can't tell because the Rams' level of competition hasn't been the same as the Chiefs.
Okay. I guess. I would say the Chiefs' level of competition is a little better, and they perform a little better against that competition.
That's what I'm saying.
So it's like, how can you not say that the Chiefs right now are performing like the best team?
But I feel like if the Rams were to play the Chiefs right now, the Rams would win.
I don't think so. I think if they played them in week like 10 or 11, they would. I think if LA had to go to Kansas, especially if LA had to go to Kansas City, I think it would be a 2-score game. All right, this one we could talk about too. It was a shock that it was so close as the Bears beat the Cardinals 16-14, and Sam Bradford gets benched officially, possibly making my prediction of it being his last ever start, and definitely his last start for now. So kind of called it. But yeah, the Bears, it took a comeback. They were down 14-0, and they put up 16 straight points to finally win the game.
I think the Bears are one of those inconsistent teams. I feel like
the Bears just don't have an offense.
Yeah, and they rely on
which is crazy because they brought in Allen Robinson, Trey Burton, Taylor Gabriel, and they already had Tariq Cohen though. I'm talking about just this season. And that's not even talking about the players they already had, like Jordan Howard and Tariq Cohen. And still,
you gotta figure something out.
I mean, if God knows what would it be, where they'd be if they didn't trade for Khalil Mack. Because at this point,
yeah, true.
Up next, Cowboys 13, Seahawks 24. I was 1 point off of the exact score of the game if the Cowboys had just scored 14 instead of 13. Nevertheless, Seattle dominated the entire game pretty much. From the first quarter on, they took the lead. They never looked back. And Russell probably played his most complete game. The offensive line probably played their most complete game. Tyler Lockett every week seems to make a new play, which I'm loving to see right now. Chris Carson ran for 100 yards, and I think he got his first ever NFL career touchdown, unless I missed one earlier in the season, because, we don't get every game. What else is there to talk about? Dallas looks horrible, but that defense, that Seattle defense, everybody was saying they was going to
rebuilding.
Everybody's saying rebuilding. Bradley McDougall, Earl Thomas looking like the best safety duo in the league. You can look up the stats. They speak for themselves. I don't even got to talk about it. And you got Shaquille Griffin grabbing picks too. Earl Thomas got 2 picks against the Cowboys. That's just great storytelling. Bobby Wagner, best linebacker in the league, and performing like it because he has the highest grade Pro Football Focus defense of all linebackers. And Earl Thomas has the highest of every defensive player. So 2 defensive players in the top 5. Rebuilding. Okay. In Dallas, yeah, they look bad.
I feel like this game was a no-brainer, so I don't have much to say.
All right. Shock of the week. Maybe. I can't even... There's so many times I could say that for this one week. The Lions put a beating on the New England Patriots 26-10. This is another one of those things where it's like, are the Patriots really the Patriots?
I don't know, bro.
Because if you think
Tom is starting to look like 40-year-old Tom.
If you think about it, they beat the fucking Texans, the 0-3 Texans in week 1. And then they got dominated by Jacksonville. They just got dominated by Detroit. What's next? They got to win this game against Miami next week. We'll talk about that some other time. And then for the Lions, I don't know.
It's tough one to reel in Brady. You saw the statistics for 0-2. But what are they winning?
The last time a team that went 0-2 went to the playoffs, it was the 2015 Seahawks. The statistics are, I don't even remember. I think it's like 27 out of the last 100 and something teams to do it.
That's ridiculous. But they're 1-2 right now.
Yeah, they didn't go 0-2. They went 1-1. But what's the difference between being 0-2 and 1-2?
True.
Now, 0-3 is where you really start talking. That's where I could see. I think 0-2 is so early to start judging it. I think it's just like a bad streak at that point. But like for somebody like Seattle, who, like I said, played 2 dominant pass rushing teams in the first 2 weeks and played on the road for the first 2 weeks, it's a tough way to start it. doesn't necessarily mean it's not going to get reeled back in.
True.
Do we have to talk about the Lions? I feel like this was kind of more like one of those where it was like they caught them. But I don't know if this team is really
I think
special.
that was basically all
coaching.
Yeah.
Matt Patricia having that insider info. Because that team hasn't looked good other than that game.
Yeah.
So until I see you start performing against teams you don't know.
was just like, listen, we need to beat New England. I don't care about any other fucking 15 games. We have to beat New England. And that's what they did.
All right, and last but not least, the Pittsburgh Steelers defeating the Buccaneers 30-27 in Tampa. Ryan Fitzmagic comes up short.
Ran out of the magic right at the end. Fitz, what happened, Fitz?
And they did get a chance to have a game-winning drive, and they went 3-0.
Mm-hmm.
And then they never got the ball back.
That's what I'm saying. The Fitz magic looked like it was fizzling out a little bit. Now we're about to see them Mahomes. What are they calling him?
The Mahomie.
Listen, Mahomes is about to fizzle out too. And I feel like the league will stay.
How about the Steelers? Let's talk about the Steelers, who could easily be a 1-2 team or a 0-3 team if the Bucs had completed the comeback that they almost did.
True.
If it wasn't for Zane Gonzalez, this team would be looking at the bottom of the basement right now in the AFC East.
I think Big Ben is the
North.
I think him and Smith-Schuster single-handedly saving this team, keeping them afloat.
Mm.
Because all the drama in the locker room that starts to take a toll on a team in an organization, period.
That's all the games. Anything else you want to talk about before we end this video off?
Nah, bro.
Nah, bro. We good?
Yeah.
Go Hawks.
I think we signing off, boys.
Signing out.